Hello. How is everyone? Great, that's good. Good to hear. Okay, the year was 1961. I was told last time I didn't turn the microphone on. Is it on? Can you hear me up there? Thank you. The year was 1961. President John F. Kennedy was visiting NASA, walking around taking a tour. You know, he just challenged everybody to go to the moon. And so he was checking up on his challenge, seeing how things were going. And he saw a man mopping the floor. And he went over to the man and said, "Pardon me, man, what's your job here?" And how do you think he replied? He said, "I'm here to put a man on the moon." So what does that tell you about NASA? NASA had a mission statement. They had a purpose. And what was their purpose? To have the cleanest floors in town, right? No, to put a man on the moon, right? Obviously, that wasn't just reserved for a certain line of people, employees, and their staff as to what the mission was. It wasn't a secret. Everybody knew our mission is to put a man on the moon. I would imagine their secondary mission, or that would be subtitled, and bring them home safely, right? So, put a man on the moon and bring him home. What would that take to do? That was a pretty grand mission statement. So what would that take? That would take belief, right? The people that worked at NASA would have to believe that if we put a man in a washing machine and seal it up and put it on a rocket and shoot it up into space, what's going to happen? They're going to end up on the moon. It doesn't matter that we have the computing power of really nothing. You know, your basic calculator you have at home was essentially the computing power they were working for. But what did those people at NASA have? They had belief. We're going to put a man on the moon. We don't know how. We're going to figure it out as we go, but we're going to put a man on the moon. So what did those employees of NASA have to have? They had to be engaged. Everybody there had to be a part of what was going on. Didn't matter if you're the astronaut waving to the pretty girls or if you're the janitor. You believe in that mission, and you're going to do your part to make sure that that mission, that purpose, gets fulfilled. What are we here? We're a church. We're a called out body of believers. What do we have to have as a body of believers? We have to have a purpose. We have to have a mission statement. Matthew chapter 22, to me, is our mission statement. Jesus answers the question, which is the greatest commandment in the law. Jesus said to him, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul and with all thy mind." Primary mission statement. Subtitled, "And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets." So to me, the mission statement of the church is this. Now, you take that, loving God, and what does that break down to? Doing something with loving God. Having a responsibility. You don't say we're going to put a man on the moon and sit down in a chair and wait for the man to get to the moon. You get up and you do something. That's our mission statement. So the challenge is, do you believe in that mission statement? In today's world, it may seem impossible to do God's will, to love God first, to get on I-4 and love your neighbor as yourself. But we can do it if we have belief. In 1960s, they had essentially nothing but amazing minds to work with to put a man on the moon. What do we have on our side? We have the Creator. So, can we love God? Can we put Him first? Can we do what loving God requires? Absolutely. But if we don't believe we can do it, will we do it? No, we won't. Nothing will get done. What else do we have to have? We have to know our individual purpose. Did that janitor know his individual purpose? Was he standing in the corner griping, man, I really want to be an astronaut, or I really want to be one of those mission control guys that gets to wear the white shirts and the black ties? That's what I want to be. No. He knew what his job was, and he did it. He had a purpose, and he fulfilled his role. Is a janitor's job important? Yes, his job was important. Could they do what they needed to do at NASA with the place being a wreck? His job was important. He understood his purpose, and he did it. Are you engaged? We can be those people sitting in front of our little 6-inch television at home watching the moon landing and feel proud, but are we a part of that? Just a bystander. We didn't put the man on the moon, they did. What do we have to do here in this church to love the Lord, our God, with all our hearts, souls, and minds? Sit in a pew? Show up? Leave? Go home? We have to be engaged. That takes blood and sweat and tears and sacrifice, right? You think those people that put a man on the moon were 9-to-5ers? I'll stroll in at 9:30 and I'll leave a little early and, I got to get home, the wife, No, they were engaged, they knew their purpose, and they believed in the mission statement. And they did amazing things. If we know our purpose, if we know our mission statement, and we're engaged, what can we do here as a light in this community? There's nothing we can't do. Because again, what kind of computing power are we working with? The Creator of it all. So my challenge to you is, think about what we're doing here. I used to play Mission Control in my garage because I loved the space program growing up. I pretended I was putting a man on the moon. But those drawings of rockets that I taped up to my garage, number one, it had already happened. But number two, that didn't do anything to put a man on the moon. If we're going to love each other, if we're going to reach the lost, if we're going to get closer to God, we have to believe in the mission statement. We have to know our purpose, know our role, and be engaged in the work. And we'll be the strongest body of believers there is. Because we're working with love. And what can stop love? The love of God and the love of each other. Nothing can stop us. Nothing can keep us from growing closer to one another, growing closer to God, and making a real impact of the lives of the people around us. Now's the part where we think about, we challenge ourselves. We think about, what am I doing? Am I being a part? Maybe I can do better. Maybe I can reach out more. Maybe I can love more. Maybe I can serve more. Maybe I can sacrifice more. I would think most of us would raise our hands and say, yeah, I can do more. Yeah. Let's do more. Let's work harder. Let's commit each day to putting God first and putting each other first. If you haven't done that, I want us to pray for you, you want to talk about it, you want some help, you want some ideas of how you can be more engaged, we can talk about that. There's plenty to do. If you need the prayers of the church, we can pray for you. Or if you haven't quite yet joined the mission, become a part, decided, you know what, now's the time to put God first, to give up my life, surrender to Him, and put on Christ, you can do that now too. Whatever you need, let us know as we stand and sing.